How's it going, guys? So welcome to my review of the Cold Steel Working Man. So this was one of the knives that you guys voted on in this or that series, where we had a list of 10 knives and a budget of $100. So we kind of pick and chose what we wanted to check out, and this is one of the ones you guys voted on. So let's get started. We're going to do the basic specs, some thoughts and impressions, kind of kick the tires on it, some testing, and then my final opinion on the knife. So start out with the blade. We are getting a 3.5-inch blade of 4116 steel. You got a stonewash finish on here. Your handle is going to be 4.5 inches. It's a GRN handle. It gives it a total length of 8 inches. Your locking mechanism is a lockback, a triad lock to be specific. Cold Steel's world's strongest lockback, and I mean it's pretty undisputed. I would believe that's the general consensus. You do have a reversible pocket clip, which is going to be right or left-handed, tip-up carry. Your knife is going to be riding on, back up a little bit, nylon washers. There are no liners in this knife, and your weight will come in at about 3.1 ounces. So those are the basic specs. If I missed anything, please feel free to let me know down in the comments. I'm always interested in your guys' feedback and want to give you guys the information that you guys want. So those are the basic specs that I usually look at when I'm looking at a knife. Anything more than that, you guys can let me know. Oh, I guess the next important thing is price. So right now on Blade HQ, this is rolling in at about $35. So we'll touch on that a little bit later. Kicking the tires on the knife, we'll go into that section next. So I couldn't words for the first part of this clip, but essentially what I'm saying is deploying it one-handed or via thumb stud or closing it one-handed isn't the easiest, but I kind of show you what I do. So here we go. You can't get it. And actually the action on this has gotten a lot better since I've been carrying it. You're going to want to do a wrist flick, as it is pretty stiff, but it's a Cold Steel, so. Hello, a bumblebee. Alright, Cold Steel versus bumblebee. Scared him away. Alright. So anyway, yeah, it's not the most one-handed open friendly knife, but it will do it. And as I played around with it, it's definitely gotten a lot better, so, in the action. So alright guys, so next up I want to do a little bit of impact testing with this knife. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the knife on the block. I'm going to take this. I'm kidding, guys. You guys are sick and twisted. I would never do that to a pocket knife. But what I am going to do is, this is a pull cue. This is really hard wood. So I'm going to take it. I'm just going to give it some wax like this. Give it some spine wax and kind of test this triad lock. So go ahead and get started. Alright, so how did it do? We're going to check the blade play and see if this held up pretty good. So, try up and down. No up and down. A little bit of side-to-side detectable, actually. So, once we get it back in, we'll play around with it. But, yeah, so a little bit of side-to-side, but up and down, good. I was giving it some really good wax, and it didn't fail. So, let's try and close it, though. Alright, there's some testing. On to the next. Alright, since we've already done it with the other knives, I'm going to put it through the lawnmower belt test just to see how the edge holds up. The other knife held up pretty good, so I'm going to take this, push it through. This has got a partially copper core, really thick stuff, so put the knife through it and see how it does. Alright, if you watched my ABKT video, the protector, you'll recognize this rope. I don't really want to do this, guys, but I figure let's put it through and see how it does. Test blade shape and grind and all that. Here we go. Still having flashbacks. I'm a little surprised by that, actually. Interesting. Okay, so now that we've got some testing out of the way and the basic specs, I kind of want to just go over this knife. So, I'll be honest with you guys, this was the one knife that I bought that I kind of regretted buying. I got it because you guys wanted it, but and there's just a couple reasons why, but the biggest one is the one I'll say for last. First things first, there was an issue with this lock. First out of the box, there was a lot of lock stick. It almost seemed like this spring back here, this tension spring, wasn't set in all the way. There was a lot of clicking and lock stick and things just not functioning proper. And I get that you have to break these locks in. And now it seems to be working well, but I bet if I take this apart, there's going to be something going on in here, and I'll probably do that with this one. But that was okay. It worked itself out. Fit and finish was okay out of the box. It was the second dullest knife out of the four. It was still paper cutting sharp, so that was fine. It's actually, so I sharpened it up and I touched it up before the knife cutting test, and it's actually, after the knife cutting test, the steel is actually pretty good steel because it'll still take a little bit of hair off. So yeah, no, the steel's good. The lock is good. You know, I turned the pivot a half a turn, and it got rid of that blade play in the knife after the impact testing. So so the lock, there was an issue with that. That seems to be okay. Your blade centering favors this side a little bit, the not pocket clip side, but it's not bad. There's not a lot of room in there. The weight's good. The pocket clip is good. Fit and finish is pretty good, although you'll see here on the tail end of the knife, you can kind of see these kind of like molded plastic lines don't all exactly line up. Just some flashing from the plastic, but I'm okay with that. This is intended to be a working knife, so I can live with that. In hand during the cutting test, actually, out of the 3 knives that kind of got included in that cutting test, the Ontario, this, and the Protector, this one seemed to actually be the best in hand. There really were no hot spots. My hand fits comfortably in here. I have a smaller hand, but lines up really nice with this spot here, and I think if you have a larger hand, you still have room down here for another finger. So I think hand size isn't going to really limit you on this knife. So what's my biggest problem with this knife? Well, Jimislashes, and I'll link his channel below, did a really good review on this knife, and he was really critical on it for 1 or 2 particular reasons, and I'll get to that in a second. But he brought up some points, and I didn't see his review until after I had already purchased this one. I was interested in the lockstick issue that I was having with this because it was a real pain in the butt, and it almost made me want to return it, except for day 2 of the carry, I accidentally put it through the wash, and I washed it in my pocket. So I said, you know what, I'm just gonna get stuck with it. Anyway, so his biggest thing that he brought up was, this knife comes in at $35, guys. Now, if you go with a Pro Light, which is the exact same as this, I'm telling you, watch Jimislashes' video. He kind of calls cold steel out on this particular knife. The Pro Light you can find for $19.99. It comes at $19.99, and it's the exact same knife as this. Same material, same handle shape. The only thing you're not getting is the name Stone Cold Steve Austin, the skull on the pocket clip, a little bit of a different blade shape. I mean, everything is the same. The handle size, the blade steel, the blade size, the overall construction, and it actually seems like there was less quality control issues with the Pro Light than there was with this knife, which kind of kind of was disappointing. Now, this knife in itself is not a bad knife. I mean, I like it in hand. I can see myself carrying this as a work knife. I don't have a lot invested in it. It's pretty tough. It's got this triad lock. It's not a fidget knife, but it is a working knife. You saw through the cuts. It's great at pull cutting, not so much as push cutting. There's not a lot of belly here. You got this little area here, but got a nice draw length there. So I could see using this as a working knife. However, when I can literally get the same knife for $15 cheaper in the Pro Light, I can't recommend this knife, guys. Now, like I said, there's not a function. This knife functions as it should. I did have a little bit of issue with this, but that seems to be resolved. So I can't recommend this knife at $35 when there's that other knife. So if you want this knife, if you're purchasing it, you can still enter the giveaway for this knife. If this is the one you want, and I wouldn't blame you. It's a good knife. It's a cold steel. However, it is almost exactly the same as the 1999 Pro Light. I would recommend you go through that. And I'm sorry that I didn't do my full research to see that knife and this one were the same, but it's a lesson learned, and I wanted to share that with you guys. The Working Man in of itself is a good knife. I like it. There's a couple little issues, but they're doable. But if I could have got this for $20, I would be okay with that. And at the price of $35, what you're getting with this, I'd be on the fence of saying, yeah, I'd spend $35 on this again. I probably would have gave it a so-so, maybe so, depending on what you're looking for rating. But the fact that you can get literally almost this exact knife with that missing and that missing for $19.99, $21.99, depending on what blade shape you want. I could not recommend this knife, guys. I could recommend going out and getting one of their other models, though. So, Cold Steel Working Man, in function, in design, not a bad knife, but it almost feels like Cold Steel got like a one-up on me because I could have got the same knife for $20. I paid a little bit more for the Stone Cold Steve Austin name, but shame on me. It's a mistake that I got to make that you guys didn't get to make because of the this or that series. So, as I stated, when we do the giveaway, if this is something you're still interested in, by all means, let me know. So, thanks for watching the review, guys. Like I said, if there's ever anything that I don't cover or anything you want questions on, I had a really good conversation with a couple of the viewers after the last few videos on going into things. So, let me know, guys, and thanks for watching. Next one's coming out pretty soon. We'll see y'all, guys. Bye.